Hi everyone, welcome to another episode on our YouTube channel, and today we're going to be looking at another green screen tutorial, the same as the one we did earlier. Again, I'm not going to go through every single detail. Everything else is basically up to your taste and what it is you're trying to go for, but I will show you how I went about creating the video that you did see in the beginning. A reminder, this is going to be rendered in EVEE. You can always go for cycles if your computer can handle that. Just for educational purposes, I choose to do EVEE because it gets the point across and the render time isn't as long as cycles would be. Now, without further ado, as I've always said, you can always key out your green screen in whichever software you want, Blender or whichever software makes you feel comfortable, and you'll get the best key out of it, which is inherently the point of all of this. I'm going to do it in After Effects, and so I'm going to show you how I do it. First things first, you just want to double click your clip and you want to run through it and make sure that you can use this to mark in your footage where you want it to start. Press play again and just watch it through and make sure that once it gets to somewhere you want it, or however long you want it, you want to come back here, and if we just scroll down and mark it out at, say, that amount, let's say that's what I want to use, then we go back to our project file and we want to drag this into a new composition. As you can see, this is what we have. If the numbers look like this, or they are very, very large, you can go to your settings and you want to make sure that the time code starts at 0. That will help fix the timeline. So here we are, we have our green screen clip in After Effects, and as always, I will always say this: make multiple keys, because different parts will require different levels of or different settings of your key light effect. So first things first, duplicate this at least 3 times. I'm going to duplicate it 3 times. Here's why. The first one that I'm going to use, this one will be just for her hair. So we come here and we want to make a rough mask around her hair. This is where the attention is going to be. Then we want to scroll through our footage to make sure that it captures everything all the way through. Again, don't worry about the bottom. This is just for the hair. So that's our first mask. Then we want to open the second one, turn this one off, and the second one, this is going to be the right here. We just want to make this right here, and so that's our mask. Again, scroll through, make sure everything stays inside. So if you find a place where it jumps out, just go back and fix your mask. Okay, just go back, fix your mask, and then come back to essentially what you have. And so you want to do this and make sure that the keyed out footage that you have is as clean as you can. Okay, so once you do that, you want to go to composition and add to render queue. Then here you go to this part, lossless. Then you want to change this to RGB plus alpha and change the format to a PNG sequence. So this is what we're going to import into Blender with images as planes, and that is what we're going to use to incorporate the green screen keyed out footage into our Blender 3D scene. So once that is done, what we're going to do is we're going to jump directly into Blender, and as you can see here, this is what I build for this particular scene. You can always use a HDRI, but I wanted this to look like it's, one of those high-end offices that's on like the 14th or something like that, like the high floors. So what I did is I downloaded this image from pexels.com. It's a free website. Then I brought it in the same way I'm going to bring in the green screen footage with images as planes. Then I placed it in the back. Only thing I did, if we change this to our shader editor, as you can see, it's just an image going directly into the output. So that's about all I used for setting up the reflections. So what the see-through, what you see when you look through this glass over here. So go back to layout, come here. So if you look through this, which obviously this right here, this I gave it a glass material. If you go down here, you go back to our shader editor, this is a a glass material that I gave that plane, so that we can be able to see through it. This is where our camera angle is. So as you can see, this whole part, as our camera moves, because I did animate the camera, as our camera moves and it animates outwards, there's this part of the window that we need to be able to see through, which kind of helps to sell the effect as glass, which is the point. So the rest is really simple modeling. So let me talk about this. So the couch, the books over here, the books over here, this computer, this wardrobe, not wardrobe, this shelf, all of this I got from the Blender Kit add-on. You can get it yourself. It's an easy way that could help you get 3D objects into your scene very fast without having to leave your workspace, go to the internet, and then download and then re-import whatever it is you want to incorporate into your scenes. Blender Kit just makes it easier because it's as simple as searching. So for example, you'd come here, set this to free first, and then you search for something like, say, a clock. Right, you search for something like a clock, and once this searches, you have an array of things that you can use which are free, obviously to use for YouTube or whatever scene you're trying to create. So that's an easy way for you to import things, and you can also import materials if you want. So yeah, I figured it's something worth mentioning. So that's how I got the TV and everything else. For the TV, all I did was, if you press tab, all I did was take that face and assign a different material to it, and then roughly put the PNG of the logo on it. I know that's not necessarily the right way, but it was a quick way to get it done, and so that's how I did it. The rest is simply a plane that I extruded on both ends and then duplicated the floor to make the ceiling. Once I did that, I applied the scale and I applied all transform to create this office cabin, this office area that would then allow me to take my green screen footage, which you can see is right here, which I exported as a PNG sequence, and then I put it in my my scene. So if we move this right here, you can see we have the the green screen footage over here, clearly a PNG rotated. The other thing that I did was I selected the camera, I went to constraints, and I added a track 2 constraint. And once I did that, I went to the PNG, I added a track 2 constraint, and the target was the camera. So now everywhere my camera goes, the PNG will always be able to follow or turn and switch and make sure that it's in the right perspective. So once that is done, all you have to do is work on your lighting and make sure that everything looks superb and looks nice. As you can see right here, we have the glass, which is the window, which you can clearly see through. On the other side is the image that we did import and we put behind the glass window, just to help bring a little bit of realism into the scene. I have two lights, I believe. I have the area light that brings in direct light into the room. Then I have a sun lamp on the outside, and then I also have a HDRI that I reduced the strength of. Other than that, all I really added was a cube map and a radiance map, and then I baked in the lighting, because again, like I said, I'm going to render this in EVEE. An easy way of seeing why or how this is in EVEE, you can see this pass over here. So for example, if I were to change this from EVEE and go to cycles and change this and do GPU compute, you'd see immediately. So I'm going to go to my viewport sampling, and I'm going to change this to something like 600 just so we can see it faster. But the moment I do that, you can notice even back here that light that cut through this part is gone. So that's why that's part of why cycles looks better. But for this, we're just going to stick with EVEE, because it's for a quick tutorial and a quick run through on how we got this result. So if we go back to our solid view, the other thing that I might want to mention is how I imported this. So if you want to bring in your green screen footage, all you have to do is press Shift A, then you go to image, you go to images as planes, and then you want to locate where your PNG sequence is. Select it and then click this part right here, animated image sequence, and then import, and that will bring in your image sequence or your PNG sequence that you've keyed out. If that's not what you're looking for, it's basically the same thing. Even if you keyed it in Blender, you'd have to export it as a PNG sequence, then bring it back in with the images as planes. So as far as the material goes for this room, I got them from Blender Kit again. Just simply unwrap the different faces and put different textures on it. If I go to the textures part over here, you can see again the see-through glass and everything else. So this on this part of the ceiling is the same texture as this, and then I wanted to lift this end with a different texture, which is the same as the texture all the way here in the back. But other than that, this is what went into creating and saving and exporting the effect that you guys saw, the video that you guys saw on the beginning of the video. So in case you guys need a longer explanation or a longer video or a step-by-step video, let me know in the comments and we'll do a complete build of the entire scene on here. That it might probably be longer, but if that's something you guys are willing to sit through and watch, just let me know and we'll do that for the next green screen video. Everything else in here, it's nothing that anyone who's beginning their journey into Blender wouldn't be able to do. It's just a cube that I extruded and moved around a bit, inserted and extruded again, and inserted and extruded, just to create something basic and straightforward to get my point across. So that's it for today. If you guys like what you see, leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next video.